Hey folks, Gwe. So as you can see, I'm home again. I made it back safe and sound. Happy to be home. It's nice to be around in a familiar environment. It's surprising, actually. I don't know why, but as I'm getting a little bit older, I'm finding myself more and more drawn to my routines. And anyhow, that's not what we're going to talk about today. What we're going to talk about today is something that Paul wrote. The Apostle Paul wrote to the church in Thessalonica. It comes from Paul's first letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 20. Now, what it says is, abstain from all appearance of evil. This is from the King James Version, and I really like this. I really like this translation. I'm generally not a huge fan of the King James version of the Bible, but this translation sort of goes further than what most of the other translations say about this particular passage. In the other translations, it simply says, abstain from all evil or all kinds of evil. But this is deeper. This calls us to something deeper, and I think in today's world, it really fits with what's going on in some corners. Abstain from all appearance of evil. It's more than just abstain from evil. Like, it's more than just don't do bad things. It's don't even appear to be doing bad things, right? It's not just saying don't be corrupt. It's saying don't even appear to be corrupt. Don't offer any way for the public, for the world around you to even think for a second that you might be corrupt, that you might be doing things that isn't in their best interest, that you might not be serving them in the way you're supposed to serve them, that you might be doing this out of selfish, ambitious reasons, that you might be doing this and it's going to put them in harm's way, that you might be doing this to take from them, that you might be doing this for your own personal agenda. Abstain from the appearance of all evil, from the appearance of all corruption, from the appearance of all selfish ambitions and motivations. The appearance means, we're supposed to look. Not only we're supposed to be squeaky clean, we are supposed to look squeaky clean. It's hard in this world, especially in the world of social media. It's really hard. But this particular translation of this particular verse, that's exactly what it calls us to. See, by protecting ourselves, by protecting our reputation, by giving people no reason to doubt who we are, no reason to doubt our authenticity, no reason to doubt our sincerity, we maintain what is one of the most precious things to a Christian. We maintain our integrity and our witness. We maintain our witness. When we say something, they can believe it. They might not like it, but they can believe it. When we share with them something, it may be uncomfortable, but they can believe it. When we call them to something, when we call people to something, when we call them to action, when we call them to charity, when we call them to change and transformation, they might not be happy with it, but they can believe that we're coming from the right place. A great example that we see in our world when our integrity is tarnished, not by the evil we do, but by the appearance that we may be up to no good. A great example in our world that we see right now of how a tarnished reputation leads to doubt and leads to challenge and leads to public outcry. Not because we've done wrong, but because we've given the appearance that we may be doing wrong, is the Supreme Court of the United States. Clarence Thomas, I think, one report that I read, he may have received over $4 million, up to and beyond $4 million from a Republican donor, a Republican fundraiser, a billionaire. I think he's out of Texas, Harlan Crow, has given this guy, interest-free loans, and has given this guy trip after trip after trip, has given this guy things that That, well, for example, the rest of the Supreme Court from 2005 up until today, the same time period that they measured the amount that Clarence Thomas has received, some $4 million, they've only received, the rest of them together, like $300,000. I'm not saying that Clarence Thomas is adjudicating based on what his patron wants him, how his patron wants him to adjudicate. I'm saying this gives us the appearance that something may be afoot. This gives us the appearance that there might be something that's not quite above board going on. And this isn't the only case, right? You look at the things that are going on, the things that the news is reporting about Samuel Alito, things that are being reported about Samuel Alito's wife, the things that have been reported about Justice Thomas's wife, and their connection to the January 6th insurrection, and their connection to Trump, and to, sort of high levels of Republican decision makers. Just recently, the news reported that Samuel Alito's wife was caught. She was recorded saying a whole bunch of not great things about neighbors who fly the pride flag. She was recorded saying some stuff about, Samuel Alito was recorded saying some stuff about, the division that exists within the country, that one side's going to win, and that all of these things, again, it's not to say they are up to no good, because I don't know that. But all of this stuff that's out there, all of this stuff that's being reported, the fact that there is no real oversight, ethical oversight to how they're operating. The fact that just recently, Senator Lindsey Graham has said he's going to vote against an ethics package that the Senate's trying to put together for the Supreme Court. He's saying, no, we're not doing this unanimously. It's not going to happen under unanimous consent, which means they're going to have to talk about it. They're going to have to fight about it. They're going to have to argue about it, and it may never get done. That isn't to say that these people are operating deviously and maliciously, and that these people are operating from a place of selfishness, of bias. This is to say that the appearance is there. And just because the appearance is there, it sows the seeds of doubt that these people are the right people. It sows the seeds of doubt that these people are acting in honest and honorable ways. It sows the seeds of doubt that these people are actually acting in ways that the law would have them act, making decisions that actually uphold the law, as opposed to decisions that destroy the law, that counteract the law, that they're writing decisions, they're writing new law, new policy, new ways of interpretation that is based more on their feelings than on what the laws have always said. Again, I'm not saying that these people are corrupt. I have no idea. I'm saying that with everything that is being generated around them, I'm saying that all the news that is being generated about them, I'm saying that all of the receipts that are coming in, they give the public a reason to doubt. The appearance that there is evil, the appearance that there is corruption, the appearance that there is a bias at play, an unlawful bias at play. That's all that matters. That simple appearance now gives a population the reason to doubt their authenticity, their honesty, and their integrity. For you and I as Christians, I remember reading a book years ago about Billy Graham, And this is something that is actually quite controversial. Billy Graham had a rule. He would never walk into a hotel room alone. He always had his people walk in before him. And the reason he did that is because there were reporters out there who would hire women to hide in the closets. They would hide the reporter with a camera would hide in the closet with them. And as soon as the target, the mark, would walk in the room, the woman would jump out. She's usually like half dressed, jump out, wrap her arms around the guy, and the guy would get the picture and, wrap her arms around the mark, and the photographer would jump out, get the picture. And now you had this salacious headline. So Billy Graham, recognizing this, always had his people walk in first. He made sure, whether it's a good rule or not, he made sure that he was never alone in the presence of a woman. And again, it's kind of a contentious thing that he did. Like, there's a lot of debate about whether, if he should have or not. At the end of the day, it wasn't because he didn't trust women. It was because he never wanted to give anybody the appearance that he was up to no good. Because his witness really mattered. His detractors would have jumped all over it. They would have said, do you see what he's done? Do you see this? Do you see that? His supporters would have been scratching their heads. Wait a second. Right? Those people who were listening and hanging on his word of love and hope, they may have doubted him. He would have lost them. He would have lost his ability to communicate with believers in the world. He would have lost his ability to communicate with leaders in the world. He would have lost his ability to communicate with the non-believers in the world. You don't have to like this rule. I'm okay with that. You don't have to like this rule. But the reason he did it wasn't because of his distrust for women. It was about protecting his authenticity. It was about protecting his reputation so that no one could ever, there appears to be evil. There appears to be corruption. There appears to be something happening here that is ungodly. He was protecting himself from the appearance of evil. He was protecting himself from the damage that the appearance of evil, the appearance of corruption, the appearance of ungodliness might have on his work, on his call. So for you and I, our witness matters because it's through our witness that we're doing the thing that Jesus asks us to do about the gospel, which is to share it. Through our witness, we are able to communicate with others. Through our witness, we're able to provide for others. Through our witness, we're able to give to others and to raise others up. Through our witness, we're able to shine the light of God into this world. Be aware. Be aware, be conscious of the fact that even just the appearance of malfeasance is enough to sow the seeds of doubt. And those seeds, they're like weeds. It's like putting dandelions in your lawn on purpose. You're going to have a lawn full of dandelions. That's a bad thing. It's just the metaphor that pops into my brain. Anyway, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that you will handle your witness gently, that you will protect yourself from the damage, from the danger that the appearance of evil can have. Amen. Nemultus.